Today's Wednesday. Today I was gonna go with Adrian on a pick that we had scheduled for today, but the weather is so crappy. It's drizzling now and it's freezing up, and then it's supposed to turn into the snow. So we rescheduled that pickup for tomorrow, and we'll try to film there tomorrow as well. So should be a good episode. But since I decided to reschedule this, and today is Wednesday, we're gonna go drifting. Let's see what we can find. So here we go. First stop, my local Goodwill, and I'm approaching here electronics section, which I absolutely love checking it out. So first I spotted here a vintage Onkyo CD player, and quick plug in here and see if we can get this thing going. And right from the get-go, I'm having issues here with opening the tray. It just doesn't want to work, something sticky there, so that is not looking good. It finally opened and then it closed immediately, so that's going back on a shelf. Those vintage CD players can bring some decent money. Next, I'm gonna look at Panasonic VCR. That particular model actually tend to bring good money. This is probably about $50-$60 VCR from Panasonic. Quick power on, it goes on. And here I'm looking for a VHS tape to test. So I tested the unit, it worked out great. It's in the cart now. This is a Sony floppy disk box here, new, sealed, and they're only asking like $2.99 for it. It's not a big money maker, but it's a very quick flip. They usually sell for about between $12 to $15. So just double checking if this is the right one that I want to grab. Yep, I think I like it, and it's going in a cart. Next here, I spotted a bag with a Canon PowerShot camera. It's actually a very nice camera. I think the model is 500 SI, if I remember now. This is a 16 megapixels camera, so it's a pretty decent unit. Has a battery inside. And guess what? I hit the power button and it comes on, which is very surprising that it had some juice in it. Yeah, you can see it right there, it's on. So I decide to take a picture or two, and everything seems to work. So that's a great little find. And also it comes with 2 extra batteries, so that's always fantastic when it comes to resale, to have those extra batteries. And then it had a charger inside that wasn't for that camera. This is a Nikon charger. But then it does have a correct charger as well for the Canon, so that's good. So they were asking $10 for this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think so, $10. So yeah, this camera will go for good $50. Here I'm in a toy section looking at the puzzles, and I found this sealed Paw Patrol for I think $1.99. Not a big money maker, but quick $15-$20. So that was it in the toy section. And here we're gonna come up to a cart that they just put out. You know how they roll out the carts with the new merchandise. Looking at a couple boots here, winter boots. From a distance they look like Sorels, but they're not. Some cheap knockoff. Here on the bottom I spot a nice pair of shoes. And guess what? They're beautiful Ellen Edmonds, and quality leather too. The soles have pretty good use on them, but they still look really, really good. Very clean. Very nice shoes. And only $6.99. So right in the cart. Then I spotted, as he putting stuff away, that he's holding a VCR. One of the workers, he's got VCR in his hand. So I'm like, can I see that? And it's one of those Sylvania, pretty cheap models, but it is a 4-head. So $4.99, I can't go wrong. That's a quick $35 flip right there. And the best part is they do have a policy for 3 days for electronics. If something doesn't work, that you can bring it back. Here we go. Some pictures. So I always look for at different pictures. I always look for oil paintings on canvas or board. There's always good money in vintage paintings. But they're not easy to find, especially quality stuff. So here I spot a used toboggan, a big one too, with the cushion on it. Now they were asking way too much money. It was in excellent shape, but they wanted like $79.99. So, you can pick them up new for like $200. Here is my last stop in this Goodwill. I'm almost ready to check out. The registers are right to the right, but I spot this Asus router, brand new, sealed in a box. And they do have $20 on it, but I checked the comps, and the comps were like anywhere between $40 to $60, so I grabbed it. They had an old Wii system here with few games and couple controllers, asking $30. But here's an interesting pair of shoes, vintage Nikes from mid 80s, I think 84 or 85, 84 I think. These are skateboard shoes. Overall decent condition, but when I looked at the comps, they were anywhere from like $40 to $60. But when I pick up the second shoe, you guys will notice there's quite a bit of wear on this second shoe right there. And then on the other side, you will see that there's like splitting going on here. So I decided there's no way, there'll be no money in this. Pretty beat up. And they were asking $30 on it, I think. So it was way too much money. Here's a Red Pack picture there with a neon. I love that kind of stuff, but they wanted $100 on it. All right, guys, that was a really nice start to the day. A lot of cool things. Couple VCRs, really nice camera. So good stuff. I like it. Let's keep going. Hopefully it stays this way. So it's next Goodwill already. And the manager gave me this as soon as I walked in. It's a cassette player. It's a deck player by some unknown brand like MCA or MCI or something like that. And I keep looking at it. And I'm like, this thing is such a mint condition. And guess what? It made in China. I just tested. It doesn't work. And it's made to look just vintage, but it's something that it's made recently. So I told him, hey, listen, this is like a replica and it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. It's funny, look at all the employees, how they're looking at my camera that it's set up on a card. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so here I spotted XM radio Delphi 2 receiver controller, and it was only like a couple bucks. Here's a little boombox from Sony, but it's missing a volume knob, so no money there. Sometimes they can bring good money. And surprisingly, here I find another XM. What are the chances? Two of them. Now this one has a red front on it, which was kind of confusing. I never seen one with the red front. But for $1.99, I decided to put them in. But then I put them back right on the shelf. I did some comps checking on it, and they used to sell for very good money, but not anymore.
I guess nobody listens to XM's radio anymore because the comps were only like $6-7. So here's another little boombox by Magnavox. I think no money there. And here I come up on OtterBox for iPhone 7, brand new sealed. Do not sell that brand. You will get a Vero on eBay. Don't buy that. Next I come up on this vintage drill here. They usually sell pretty good. It might be a little bit long tail item, but this one has a great patina on it. Everything works, but they wanted like $15 or $20 for it. They usually only bring about $30-35, so it was way too much money. Yeah. If it was like $5 at the garage sale, grab those. They're worth reselling. So here I'm rolling, and I'm gonna come up on this little mini fridge. A really tiny thing, like, perfect for like a dorm. They had it plugged in and it was running nice and clean, no dents. And they only had $4.99 on it. I was like, something's gotta be wrong with it, but no, it was plugged in, running, everything was good. I'm like, I want this thing. I can usually get like $40-45 for them in a shop. So quick decision. I unplugged it. It was actually perfect that they had it plugged in because I was able to tell right away that it was working good. So right in my cart. And they're not heavy. A little bulky, but they're not heavy at all. So that's a perfect pickup for my shop. Next, I'm flipping through some shirts here. I always like to flip through some t-shirts, for myself or for resale. Always look for vintage stuff. You never know, You never know, and most Goodwills have them pretty cheap. Here I found vintage Disney t-shirt with like all the characters on it. So it was pretty interesting, although it had like this coloring on the back and this material was like stretched out. It was really beat up. So I decided to put it back. Here's a cool Miami shirt. And coming up here, this is a pretty cool t-shirt. Read it. Not only I'm perfect, I'm polished too. So true. Funny. Alright, so the second stop wasn't as good as the first one, but I still got that little fridge. Now I'm super hungry. It's time for lunch. It's 12:30, so I'm gonna grab a bite to eat. So I just pulled up to my next location, but before we go in, I got this interesting email from AJ. And AJ is asking about shipping. So he says, let me go through this. I'm not going to read the whole email, but here it is. Okay, I shipped my first somewhat heavy item the other day, a laser disc player. Shipping with UPS ran almost $50, much more than I anticipated. Who do you do your shipping with, and how do you ship these large items in any economical way? Thanks for the content. All right, AJ. So here's the thing. That question is asked so many times, especially new sellers. They're very confused which route they should go when it comes to big bulky items. Here's my answer. First of all, UPS, it's a great selection if you do have account with them. If you just walk into a UPS store and you slap a 30-pound Laserdisc player and you tell them, here's the address, ship it, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Now, I obviously don't know where are you located in a country, because that will make a significant difference too, right? If you are on the East Coast and you're shipping all the way to the West Coast, it's going to cost you the most. But if you're centrally located, for example, like I am, kind of centrally located in Chicagoland area, the shipping to the East Coast and Florida would be roughly about the same. But shipping, for example, to the West Coast, to California or Oregon, would be a little bit more money. But here's the thing: if you open up actually an account with UPS, and you can use then that later account through eBay shipping, you got to make sure that you click on your shipping preferences as you listing the item. You have to click on UPS ground shipping, and then when the item sells and it's time to ship, it's going to come up and it's going to direct you directly from eBay to UPS side, and you're going to get the full discount, and you're going to be able to ship ground. Nice thing about shipping UPS 99% of the time will ship to any address ground. Not so much with FedEx. FedEx is kind of 50-50. Some of the home addresses they will ship it to, but most of them don't unless it's a business. If it's a commercial business location, ground, FedEx, no problem. Home address, sometimes it's 50-50. So it's a good option if you're shipping big, bulky, heavy stuff to ship via UPS. Good rule of thumb is if you charge about $1 a pound. So for example, if that laser disc was about 30 pounds, you should have put $30, and it could have been pretty safe bet. Obviously, if it's shipping like next state over, a couple states over, you're gonna make a little bit money on the shipping. If it's shipping super far away from you, you might lose a couple bucks of shipping. Now, if you totally don't know how to do this, you can do calculated shipping, right? You can put the dimensions of the actual item already in a box. You can put the weight, and each individual person that clicks on an item, doesn't matter where he is in the country, will get the price calculated, and then it's not going to cost you anything. That's probably the safest bet. So I never ship anything USPS heavier than usually 10-15 pounds, unless I can stick it like in a original A or original B, or any flat rate boxes, which are up to 70 pounds, but usually they're very small, right? You're not going to put a heavy laser disc player in even large flat rate box, which is about $17. It's just not going to fit. So I usually never do that. So FedEx and UPS is way to go. Ground if you can. I hope that answers the question.
So this is my third stop here. This is a local thrift shop that I come quite often actually, and they have a huge selection of used furniture here, lots of artwork. I was just looking at some glass cases there, display cases, but they were missing shelves. Here I'm gonna go through some pictures. Like I said, I always look for oil paintings. You'd be surprised how much money is in oil paintings if you're willing to wait a little bit, and if you're willing to pack and ship them. You know, some of them, the bigger ones, they could be painted about, but there's definitely money in it. Here I found brand new picture of like a Walter Payton foundation something, and they were asking like $19.99 on it, which is kind of crazy because you can go to Hobby Lobby and find those for like $24.99, you know. But sometimes when they see the stuff is new, they price it up. Yeah, they sell a lot of mattresses out of here. They're new mattresses, but it is kind of dumpy place. Here I spotted kind of mid-century furniture piece, but it was so wobbly and beat up overall that I decided that it's not worth it. Plus they were asking like $40 for it, or I think $50. So no money there. Yeah, mid-century furniture is big time money maker. So as you can see, there's a ton of furniture in this place, and I do find some good stuff in here. I do find a lot of good lamps here. They always have a big selection of different lamps, and the lamp that I'm gonna come up here on now, it was a good find. This is a mid-size lamp. It's made out of porcelain and it's got all the crackling going on it, so it definitely shows the age. By looking at the plug, this is definitely mid to late 50s, maybe early 60s. So it's definitely vintage piece. And there's no tag on it, but when I went to register, they told me $4.99, so great find there. And as you can see, there's a ton of lamps here, all kinds of lamps. I always find something here, so there's good money. Once again, if you're willing to ship that stuff, you just got to make sure that it's packed right. But you know, over the years, I sold many lamps. Now, this is already another store I'm in, also local place, little tiny place. They have a ton of collectibles here. So I always look for some interesting stuff in here. I'm surprised they stay in a business. There's hardly anybody there. Here's a very cool piece that I found. So this is a vintage cast iron fire truck. There's a little problem with this. It's missing another letter. It's supposed to have 2 letters and 2 guys on it. 2 letters, yep. And 1 guy up front, 1 guy in the back, and it's not there. If this was complete set, this sells for about 50, 60 bucks. The way it sits, not much money. Alright guys, I'm heading back to the shop now. I got an appointment in about half an hour, so I gotta head back. I've been out for 3 hours, hit 4 stores. The last one I did not find anything, but it was fun. I found some good things, so I'm happy. Let me know how you like that voiceover again, because these stores are playing the music so loud. I'm not recording. Well, I'm recording the audio, but I'm deleting the audio from the GoPro that I'm using, and then I'm doing voiceover. Last one I did, you guys really enjoyed it, so I figure I'd do it again. So drop me a comment there if you like the voiceover, and I appreciate you guys watching. I found some cool things, especially the first store. I found a lot of cool stuff, and those Ellen Edmonds shoes. I haven't looked up the model, but it's a good quality leather and they're in excellent condition. I think those shoes should go anywhere between like 75 and 100 bucks, I'm thinking. So that was a really nice find. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and appreciate it. Till next time, cheers.